The great council chamber floated in space like a giant crystal bubble. Inside, hundreds of alien species gathered around glowing platforms. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and many looked nothing like any creature from Earth. They all came here to meet and talk about important things happening in the galaxy. Ambassador Velkin stood at the center. His body was made of living crystal that changed colors when he felt different emotions. Right now, he glowed dark purple, which meant he was worried. The Zerathi were the oldest species in the galaxy. They had been traveling between stars for over 3 billion years. They had seen empires rise and fall. They had watched young species take their first steps into space. But today, something made Velkin very nervous. A new species had just arrived at the council. Humans. Captain Jake Morgan tried not to stare at all the aliens around him. He stood on the human platform with his crew. Lieutenant Amy Ross kept checking her translator device to make sure it was working. Engineer Sam Carter was taking notes on his tablet, writing down everything he saw. Science Officer Lisa Chen scanned the room with her instruments, collecting data about all the different life forms. "Welcome, humans of Earth," said the council speaker, a tall being with 6 arms and silver skin. "The Galactic Council is happy to meet you. We have waited long for your species to develop space travel and join us." Jake stepped forward and smiled. "Thank you. We're honored to be here. Humanity looks forward to learning from all of you and working together for peace." Many aliens made happy sounds. Some clapped with whatever they used for hands. Others flashed bright colors. But Jake noticed something strange. In one corner of the chamber, a group of crystalline beings seemed to shrink back. They were the Zerathi, and they looked afraid. The Corvin representative spoke next. The Corvins looked like large birds with golden feathers. "We have heard much about your world. Your blue oceans, green forests, and diverse life forms. Earth sounds beautiful." "It is," Amy said proudly. "We'd love to show you around sometime." More friendly sounds filled the chamber, but Velkin suddenly pulsed with bright red light. In Zerathi color language, this meant danger. "No!" Velkin's voice echoed through the chamber. Everyone turned to look at him. "The Zerathi will never visit Earth, and we strongly advise all other species to avoid that world." The chamber went quiet. Jake felt confused. "I don't understand. Have we done something wrong?" "The humans seem peaceful," said the Corvin, tilting its feathered head. "They have not attacked anyone. They come here with open hands. Why do you fear them so?" Velkin's colors shifted to deep blue, then back to purple. The other Zerathi behind him flickered with similar patterns. They were having a silent conversation in their light language. Finally, Velkin spoke. "We do not fear them. We fear what they might become." Sam leaned over to Jake and whispered, "What's he talking about?" Jake shook his head. He had no idea. A small, furry alien raised its hand. "The Zerathi are the oldest among us. They have wisdom we younger species do not. Perhaps we should listen." "But listen to what?" asked another alien, this one looking like a living cloud. "They speak in riddles. If there is danger, tell us clearly." Velkin's crystal body trembled slightly. "There are things about Earth that the galaxy has forgotten. Things that happened long before any of your species existed. Things that only the Zerathi remember." Lisa checked her scanner. The energy readings from the Zerathi were strange, showing patterns she had never seen before. It was like they were experiencing extreme stress. "Please," Jake said, trying to sound calm and friendly. "If there's something we should know about our own world, we'd like to hear it. We're here to learn." The council speaker raised 4 of its 6 arms. "Perhaps this is not the time for old stories. The humans have just arrived. Let us first—" "No," Velkin interrupted. His voice was firm. "They must know. The galaxy must know. We have kept this secret too long." The other Zerathi moved closer to Velkin, their bodies pulsing in unison. They seemed to be giving him strength. "Earth is not like other worlds," Velkin began. "It is special, dangerous. It has properties that no other planet possesses." Amy frowned. What kind of properties? Your world accelerates evolution. It makes species change and adapt faster than anywhere else in the galaxy. We call it the crucible effect. The chamber filled with whispers. Many aliens looked confused. Others looked worried. That doesn't sound dangerous, Sam said. Evolution is natural. All planets have it. Not like Earth, Velkin replied. His colors grew darker. On your world, evolution happens at impossible speeds. Under pressure, Earth species can develop abilities in decades that should take millions of years. Jake thought about human history. In just 200 years, humans had gone from riding horses to traveling between stars. Was that really so unusual? The dinosaurs, Velkin continued, and every Zarathi in the chamber flickered with the same red danger signal. What about dinosaurs? Lisa asked. They went extinct 65 million years ago. An asteroid hit Earth and... That was no asteroid, Velkin said quietly. The chamber went completely silent. Even the floating particles of the cloud alien stopped moving. Jake felt his heart beat faster. What do you mean? Velkin turned to face the entire council. His crystal body now glowed with swirling patterns of many colors. 65 million years ago, the Zarathi visited Earth. We found it ruled by giant reptiles. Within less than a century, those creatures developed intelligence, technology, and power beyond anything we had seen. They became a threat to the, entire galaxy. That's impossible, Lisa said. The fossil record shows no evidence of intelligent dinosaurs. Because we erased them, Velkin said. What your scientists call an asteroid impact was our doing. We had to reset your world before those creatures destroyed everything. The humans stood in shocked silence. Around them, aliens began talking loudly. Some sounded scared, others sounded angry. You committed genocide? Jake asked, his voice shaking. We saved the galaxy, Velkin replied. And now, humans have appeared. You show the same signs, the same rapid development, the same impossible adaptability. The crucible effect is working again. The Corvin representative spread its golden wings. But the humans are not conquistadors. They seek friendship. As did the dinosaurs, Velkin said. At first, Jake felt anger rising in his chest. We're not dinosaurs. We're not conquerors. We've united our planet in peace. We've ended our major wars. We're explorers, not invaders. Perhaps, Velkin said. His colors shifted to a sad gray. But Earth creates species that can change quickly. Under the right pressure, what will you become? How long before the crucible effect transforms you into something the galaxy cannot contain? The council speaker raised all 6 arms. This session needs time to process this information. We will adjourn and... Wait, Jake called out. Don't. We get to defend ourselves? You can't judge us based on something that happened millions of years before we existed. Velkin turned to face Jake directly. For a moment their eyes met, human and alien, young species and ancient. We do not judge, Velkin said softly. We remember, and we warn. The question is not what you are now, Captain Morgan. The question is what Earth will make you become. As the council chamber began to empty, the human crew stood together on their platform. They had come here expecting to make new friends among the stars. Instead, they had learned that their own planet might be the most dangerous thing in the galaxy. And somewhere in the back of Jake's mind, a troubling thought formed. If the Zarathi had reset Earth once before, would they do it again? The Zarathi ship felt wrong to Jake. Every surface seemed to shift and change like living glass. The walls pulsed with soft light that made strange patterns. Walking through the corridors felt like moving inside a dream. Velkin led the way. 3 other Zarathi followed behind the human team. Their crystal bodies flickered with nervous colors. Guards, Jake realized. They were being guarded. Your ship is beautiful, Lisa said, trying to break the tension. She ran her scanner along the walls, collecting readings. It is not a ship, Velkin replied. It is a living creature. We grow them, not build them. Sam looked amazed. Your ships are alive? Everything Zarathi is alive, Velkin said. Even our data crystals, you will see. They entered a large chamber. The ceiling stretched up so high it disappeared in shadows. Everywhere Jake looked, he saw floating crystals. Thousands of them, maybe millions. They hung in the air like frozen stars, each one glowing with its own soft light. "This is our memory," Velkin said. "Every moment of Zarathi history for 3 billion years. Every world we have visited, every species we have met, everything we have learned." Amy whistled softly, like a giant library. "More than that." Velkin touched one crystal. It floated down to hover in front of him. "These crystals don't just store information, they store actual memories. When I touch this, I experience what my ancestors experienced. I see through their eyes, feel what they felt." The crystal in front of Velkin began to pulse. Images appeared in the air above it. Jake saw stars being born, planets forming, life beginning on 1,000 worlds. "Beautiful," Lisa whispered. "Not all memories are beautiful," Velkin said. He waved his hand, and the crystal floated back to its place. Another one came down. This one was darker, its light tinged with red. "This crystal contains our memories of Earth." The humans moved closer. Even the Zarathi guards leaned in to look. 65 million years ago, Velkin began. The crystal projected images of a younger Earth. Jake recognized the shapes of continents, though they looked different. The world was covered in thick forests and shallow seas. "We came to catalog life forms," Velkin continued. "Earth was known to have interesting creatures, large reptiles that ruled the land, sea, and sky. The images showed dinosaurs, a massive long-necked creature eating from tall trees, a group of 3-horned animals moving in herds, flying reptiles soaring over ancient seas. We had seen such creatures before on other worlds," Velkin said. "They were animals, simple minds, no tools, no language, just instinct." The crystal pulsed. The images began to change. Then something happened. In Earth year, as you count time, these creatures began to change, not slowly as evolution usually works. Fast, impossibly fast. The images showed dinosaurs using simple tools, sharpened stones, wooden spears. Jake felt his skin grow cold. "Wait," Amy said. "That can't be right. The fossil record shows no evidence of tool-using dinosaurs." "Your fossil record shows only what we allowed to remain," Velkin replied. The images continued. Now the dinosaurs were building structures. Simple at first, then more complex. They developed writing, mathematics, art. "This happened in decades," Velkin said. "Not millions of years." "Decades," Sam shook his head. "Evolution doesn't work that way. It's impossible." "On Earth, many things are possible," Velkin said. "Watch." The crystal showed dinosaurs discovering metal, building machines, creating technology that looked alien even to Jake's eyes. In one image, dinosaurs in strange suits stood on what looked like the moon. "They reached space?" Lisa asked, her voice barely a whisper. "In less than 200 years from their first tool," Velkin confirmed. "Your species took thousands of years to go from stone tools to space travel. They did it in 2 centuries. The images grew darker. Now they showed dinosaur ships encountering other species. At first, the meeting seemed peaceful. Then, everything changed. Weapons that turned matter into energy. Ships that could fold space. Dinosaur armies sweeping across star systems, leaving nothing behind. They conquered 17 inhabited worlds in 10 years, Velkin said. His colors had gone deep purple with remembered pain. Species that had lived in peace for millions of years were destroyed in days. Jake felt sick. Why? What made them so aggressive? We asked the same question. Velkin touched another crystal. This one showed Zarathi scientists studying captured dinosaur technology. We discovered the answer. Earth itself was the cause. New images appeared. These showed Earth from space, surrounded by strange energy fields. Patterns of force that Jake didn't understand. Your planet has unique properties, Velkin explained. It sits at a nexus of cosmic forces. These forces create what we call the crucible effect. When a species on Earth faces challenge or pressure, they evolve rapidly to meet it. Like survival of the fittest on steroids, Sam muttered. Exactly, Velkin said. But it's not just physical evolution, it's mental, technological, social. Everything speeds up. And with that speed comes aggression, the need to expand, to conquer. The crystal showed the final war. Fleets of Zarathi ships joining with other species to fight the dinosaurs. Battles that lit up whole solar systems. Planets burning. We were losing, Velkin said quietly. They adapted to every weapon, every strategy. They were evolving even as we fought them, becoming something beyond biological life. So you destroyed Earth? Jake asked. No. Velkin's colors shifted to deep blue. We couldn't. The planet's defenses were too strong. Instead, we targeted the dinosaurs themselves, a genetic weapon that would affect only them. The final images showed the weapon's deployment. A flash of light, dinosaurs falling, cities crumbling. In days, a civilization that had threatened the galaxy was gone. But the weapon worked too well, Velkin continued. It caused a chain reaction, volcanic eruptions, climate change, the death of most life on Earth, what you call the extinction event. And then? Lisa asked. Velkin touched a third crystal. We waited, watched. Earth healed slowly. New life evolved. We thought the danger had passed. Images flickered by. Millions of years compressed into seconds. Jake saw familiar creatures evolve. Early mammals, primates. Finally, humans. We've been watching your species from the beginning, Velkin said. At first, you seemed different, slower to develop, less aggressive. We had hope. But Jake could hear the word coming. But then you began to change. Your last 2 centuries have shown acceleration. From horses to spacecraft, from swords to nuclear weapons, from isolated tribes to a connected world. The pattern is the same. The chamber fell silent. The crystals continued their slow dance, each one holding memories of dead worlds and extinct species. There's more, Velkin said finally. He gestured to a section of crystals that glowed differently. These hold memories of other Earth species. Between the dinosaurs and you, others evolved intelligence. Each time, we had to act. How many? Jake asked, though he wasn't sure he wanted to know. 4 times, Velkin replied. 4 species reached the point where the crucible effect activated fully. Each time, we prevented galactic catastrophe. Amy's face had gone pale. And now you think we're the 5th? Velkin's colors swirled in complex patterns. You have reached space. You have begun to colonize other worlds. The acceleration is beginning. The question is, can it be stopped without destroying you? Jake looked at his crew. They all wore the same expression of shock and fear. They had come to the stars looking for friends. Instead, they had found judges. And Earth itself might be their greatest enemy. Show us everything, Jake said finally. If we're going to face this, we need to understand it completely. Velkin nodded slowly. Very well. But know this, human. Knowledge of the crucible effect has driven species mad. Are you certain you wish to see how deep this truth goes? Jake thought of Earth, of all humanity waiting back home, dreaming of the stars. They deserved to know what they really were. Show us, he said. The crystals began to pulse faster, the chamber filled with light, and the terrible history of Earth continued to unfold. The deeper levels of the archive felt colder. The crystal lights grew dimmer. Jake noticed the Zarathi guards moving closer, their bodies pulsing with warning colors. This section is restricted, Velkin said. Even among the Zarathi, few are allowed here. Why? Sam asked. Because it contains our shame, Velkin replied, and our darkest secrets. They entered a circular chamber. In the center, a single massive crystal floated. It was black as space, with red veins running through it like blood. The extinction protocol, Velkin said simply. Lisa raised her scanner. The readings made her gasp. The energy patterns. This crystal is different. It's not just storing memories. It's storing something else. Weapons, Velkin confirmed. Plans, methods, everything we learned about ending civilizations. The black crystal began to pulse. Images appeared, but these were different from before. They looked like blueprints, technical diagrams, scientific formulas. After the dinosaurs, we realized the truth, Velkin began. Earth would keep producing dangerous species. The crucible effect couldn't be stopped, so we created protocols. The images showed different types of weapons. Some looked like diseases. Others were energy beams. A few were things Jake couldn't understand at all. You became executioners, Amy said. Her voice was cold. We became guardians, Velkin corrected. Each time Earth produced a threat, we had to act. But we learned to be precise. The crystal showed a new species. They looked like large insects with multiple arms. Jake watched them build cities inside mountains, develop mathematics, create art. The collectors, Velkin named them. They evolved 40 million years after the dinosaurs. Within 300 years, they went from caves to starships. What happened to them? Jake asked, though he already knew. They began to spread, Velkin said. The images showed insect ships leaving Earth, landing on the moon, building bases on Mars. Like the dinosaurs, they changed when they reached space, became aggressive, started viewing other life as resources to collect. The crystal pulsed. Jake saw Zarathi ships appearing in Earth's solar system. A brief conflict. Then a targeted plague spreading through collector cities. We used a biological weapon, Velkin explained. It affected only them. No other Earth life was harmed. We had learned from our mistake with the dinosaurs. Sam clenched his fists. You're talking about genocide like it's pest control. Would you prefer we let them spread? Velkin asked. They had already begun experimenting on captured life forms from Earth's moon. Given time, they would have reached other inhabited worlds. The crystal showed more species, a kind of intelligent plant that communicated through chemical signals. Ocean dwellers that built cities in the deep trenches, crystalline beings that lived in Earth's deserts. Each time the pattern repeated, Velkin said. Rapid evolution, technological explosion, aggressive expansion, and each time we had to act. But why? Lisa demanded. Why does Earth do this? Velkin touched the crystal again. New images appeared. These were different, older. They showed Earth being formed. But something was wrong with the pictures. Your planet is not natural, Velkin said. The humans stared at him. What do you mean? Jake asked. Earth was engineered, built, designed to be exactly what it is. The images showed massive structures in space, things that looked like machines, but were the size of moons. They were building Earth, layer by layer, installing strange devices in its core. The architects, Velkin whispered, being so old that even we know almost nothing about them. They vanished billions of years ago, but they left Earth behind. As what? Amy asked. A trap? A weapon? We don't know, Velkin admitted. Perhaps a laboratory, perhaps a test, perhaps something we can't understand. But they built the crucible effect into your world's basic nature. Jake felt his head spinning. Earth wasn't just his home. It was some kind of ancient alien experiment. So you've been babysitting a planet-sized time bomb, Sam said. Yes, Velkin agreed. And now you humans have reached the critical point. Space travel, contact with other species, the triggers for full crucible activation. The black crystal pulsed again. Now it showed human history. The last 200 years compressed into minutes. Steam engines to rockets, telegraph to internet, first flight to moon landing. Your acceleration is faster than any previous species, Velkin observed. Even the dinosaurs took longer to reach space. Maybe that's good, Jake argued. Maybe we can control it better. Or maybe you'll be worse, Velkin countered. He touched another section of the crystal. Look at your weapons development. Images flashed by, swords to guns, cannons to missiles, chemical weapons. biological weapons, nuclear weapons, each step more devastating than the last. In 80 years, you went from gunpowder to weapons that can crack atoms, Velkin said. What will you create in the next 80? The chamber fell silent. The human crew looked at each other. They all knew the answer. Humans were already working on antimatter weapons, quantum bombs, things that could destroy entire planets. There's something else, Velkin said. His colors had gone dark. Something we discovered recently. The crystal showed Earth again, but now there were energy readings, patterns of force growing stronger. The crucible effect is intensifying, Velkin explained. Each time it activates, it grows more powerful, more aggressive. The dinosaurs were bad, the species after them were worse, and you will be the worst yet, Jake finished. Possibly, Velkin said. Or possibly you'll be something else entirely. The effect seems to be reaching some kind of culmination with your species. Lisa studied her scanner readings. These energy patterns, they're not random, they look almost like programming. Yes, Velkin agreed. As if the architects designed this progression, each species more advanced than the last, building toward something. Toward what? Amy asked. We don't know, and that terrifies us most of all. The black crystal went dark. The chamber lights dimmed further. Jake could feel the weight of billions of years pressing down on him. So what happens now, he asked. Do you activate your extinction protocol for us? Velkin's form flickered through many colors before settling on deep blue. That is being debated. Some Zarathi believe we should act now before you become too powerful. Others think we should wait and observe. And what do you think? Jake pressed. I think, Velkin said slowly, that you humans might be different. Every previous species, when they learned about the crucible effect, reacted with fear or anger. They tried to fight us, to use the knowledge against us. But you're still talking, still trying to understand. We want to survive, Jake said simply. Our whole species, our children, our future. All species want that, Velkin replied. The question is, at what cost? When the crucible effect fully activates, will you still care about other species' survival? Or will Earth's programming override your current nature? Jake thought about human history, all the wars, all the conquests, but also all the peace treaties, all the cooperation, all the times humans had chosen to help rather than harm. We have a choice, he said finally. We always have a choice. Perhaps, Velkin said. But the crucible effect is not about choice, it's about pressure creating change, and change creating pressure, a cycle that speeds up until what? Until something breaks. Either the species or the galaxy. The Zarathi guards moved closer. Their weapons were visible now. Jake realized they could all be killed in seconds, if Velkin gave the order. We need to report back to the council, Velkin said. They will decide your fate. But first, there's one more thing you must see. What? Lisa asked. The future, Velkin said. What our predictive models show will happen if humanity follows the same path as previous Earth species. Are you sure you want to see it? Jake looked at his crew. They all nodded, though fear showed in their eyes. Show us, Jake said. Show us what we might become. The black crystal blazed to life again, and the images it showed made even the Zarathi guards step back in fear. The black crystal showed Earth 50 years in the future. Cities floated in the clouds. Massive structures reached into space like silver needles. Ships filled the skies. It looked beautiful. Then everything changed. The ships turned into weapons. The cities became fortresses. Human armies spread across space like a plague. Worlds burned. Species Jake had met at the council died screaming. The galaxy itself seemed to crack and break under the assault. Stop it, Amy whispered. Please stop. The images faded. The crystal went dark. Everyone in the chamber stood silent, breathing hard. That's just one possibility, Jake said finally. His voice shook. A prediction, not fact. Our models have been accurate before, Velkin replied. They predicted what the dinosaurs would become, what the collectors would do. Every time the E pattern holds. Lisa was studying her scanner, her face pale. The energy readings from that crystal, they're based on real data, probability calculations. This isn't just a guess. Sam stepped forward, anger in his eyes. So what? You show us a horror movie and expect us to give up? To let you kill us all? More Zarathi guards appeared at the chamber entrance. Their weapons hummed with power. Jake counted 20 of them now. Maybe more. We're not giving up, Jake said, putting a hand on Sam's shoulder. But we need to understand what we're facing. Velkin's colors shifted to yellow, which meant surprise. You still want to talk after seeing that? Especially after seeing that, Jake replied. If that's our future, we need to change it. But we can't change what we don't understand. The Zarathi guards looked confused, their weapons lowered slightly. You're not reacting like the others did, Velkin observed. What did the others do? Amy asked. The collectors tried to steal our technology when they learned the truth. The crystal mines attempted to destroy the archive. The deep ones launched an immediate attack on our ships. All of them proved the predictions correct by their very actions. And humans? Lisa prompted. You ask questions. You seek understanding. It's unusual. Jake felt a spark of hope. Maybe that's because we're not like the others. Maybe the pattern doesn't have to repeat. Or maybe you're just more clever, another Zarathi said. This one's colors were deep red, angry. Maybe you're pretending to be peaceful while planning something worse. Commander Zarek speaks for many Zarathi, Velkin explained. He believes we should activate the protocol immediately. Zarek stepped forward. His crystal body was larger than Velkin's, marked with scars that looked like cracks. I've seen 4 Earth species rise and fall. Each one seemed different, special. Each one became a monster. Humans will be no different. You don't know that, Jake argued. I know Earth, Zarek shot back. I know the crucible effect, and I know what happens when we wait too long to act. The tension in the chamber grew thick. Guards shifted nervously. Weapons hummed louder. There's something you're not telling us, Lisa said suddenly. She was looking at her scanner again. These readings, there's another signal here, something hidden. Velkin and Zarek exchanged a look. Their colors flickered in rapid patterns. Tell them, Velkin said finally. No, Zarek objected. They don't need to know about the seed. The what? Jake asked. Velkin touched the black crystal again. A new image appeared. It showed something buried deep under Earth's crust. A sphere of impossible complexity. Layers within layers. Patterns that hurt to look at. The architects left something inside your planet, Velkin explained. We call it the seed. It's the source of the crucible effect. Can we destroy it? Sam asked immediately. We tried, Zarek said. 3 billion years ago when we first discovered it. We sent our best team. They never returned. The seed has defenses beyond our understanding. Others have tried since then, Velkin added. The crystal mines almost succeeded. They got closest to the seed. But when they touched it, the image changed. It showed crystalline beings like those Jake had seen earlier. They were deep underground, approaching the seed. Then a flash of light. The beings changed, twisted, became something else. Something hungry and terrible. The seed protects itself, Velkin said, and it corrupts those who try to harm it. The crystal mines had to be destroyed completely, not just on Earth, everywhere, every colony, every ship. It was difficult. Jake understood. The Zarathi had committed genocide on a galactic scale, and they'd had no choice. So we're trapped, Amy said. We can't remove the seed. We can't stop the effect. We just have to wait until we become monsters. Or until we stop you first, Zarek said. His weapon charged up. Other guards followed his lead. Wait, Jake said quickly. There has to be another way. We're talking. We're cooperating. Doesn't that count for something? The dinosaurs cooperated too, Zarek replied. At first, they were quite charming, actually. curious, friendly. Then the crucible effect reached full activation. What triggers it? Lisa asked. What makes it go from enhancement to corruption? Velkin considered the question. Pressure, challenge, threat. When an Earth species faces something it cannot overcome with current abilities, the effect activates, forces rapid adaptation. But the adaptation doesn't stop when the threat is gone. It continues, accelerates, consumes. Jake thought about human history. Every war had led to new technology. Every disaster had forced adaptation. Every challenge had made humanity stronger, but also more dangerous. So, if we face no challenges, he began. Impossible. Zarek cut him off. Space itself is a challenge. Other species are challenges. Your own growth is a challenge. The effect will find a trigger, it always does. But humans are already different, Amy insisted. We've united our planet. We've ended major wars. We're working together. Because you faced the challenge of mutual destruction, Velkin pointed out. Nuclear weapons forced cooperation, the crucible effect in action. You adapted to prevent your own extinction. But what's next? What happens when you meet a species more advanced than you, or find a resource you want, or feel threatened? The crystal pulsed. New images appeared. These showed humanity's recent history, the world wars, the Cold War, the climate crisis. Each challenge had indeed forced adaptation, unity, cooperation, but also new weapons, new technologies, new ways to kill. You see the pattern, Zarek said. Each solution creates new problems. Each adaptation demands further adaptation. The cycle speeds up until we break, Jake finished. Or break everything else. Yes, Velkin confirmed. The chamber fell silent again. Jake could feel the weight of judgment pressing down. Not just the Zarathi's judgment. The universe itself seemed to be waiting for an answer. There's one thing I don't understand, Lisa said. If the architects built Earth as a weapon or experiment, why? What was the purpose? We've asked that question for billions of years, Velkin replied. Some think Earth was meant to create the ultimate species. Others believe it's a test for the galaxy. A few suspect it's a prison for something we can't comprehend. Or maybe, Jake said slowly, it's none of those things. Maybe it's a gift. Every Zarathi in the chamber turned to stare at him. Zarek's colors flashed angry red. A gift? He snarled. Your world has forced us to commit genocide 5 times. How is that a gift? Because each species was more advanced than the last, Jake explained. More capable, more adaptable. Maybe the architects were trying to create something specific, something necessary. Necessary for what? Velkin asked. I don't know. But what if the galaxy needs what Earth creates? What if there's a threat coming that requires exactly the kind of rapid evolution the crucible effect produces? The idea hung in the air. Jake could see the Zarathi processing it. Their colors flickered with uncertainty. That's speculation, Zarek said, but his weapon lowered slightly. Everything is speculation, Jake countered. You don't know why Earth exists. You don't know what the architects wanted. You only know the pattern. But patterns can be broken. How? Velkin asked. Jake took a deep breath. This was it, the moment that might save or doom humanity. By working together, he said. Instead of fighting the crucible effect or running from it, we study it, control it, direct it. With your knowledge and our adaptability, maybe we can find the answer the architects were looking for. The Zarathi began flickering rapidly. They were discussing among themselves, arguing, debating. Jake waited, his heart pounding. Finally, Velkin spoke. The council must decide, but your words have merit. Perhaps there is another path. Zarek's colors remained angry, but he stepped back. If the council chooses this foolishness, I will watch you closely, humans. One sign of corruption, one hint of the old pattern, and I will act. Fair enough, Jake said. He looked at his crew. They nodded support. We'll return to the council, Velkin decided. Present both views. Let the galaxy decide humanity's fate. As they left the deep archive, Jake felt the weight of responsibility on his shoulders. He had bought humanity time, but time for what? To prove they were different? Or to become the very monsters the Zerathi feared? The council chamber felt different this time. Every alien species watched the humans with new eyes. Fear, suspicion, curiosity. The news had spread quickly. Earth wasn't just another world. It was a factory for monsters. Jake stood on the human platform with his crew. Across from them, Velkin and Zarek faced the assembled council. Between them floated a hologram of Earth, spinning slowly, looking peaceful and blue. The evidence has been presented, the council speaker announced. Its 6 arms moved in formal patterns. Earth produces species that threaten galactic stability. The question now, what do we do about humanity? Voices erupted from all directions. The chamber filled with dozens of languages, all translated into Jake's earpiece. Destroy them now before it's too late. Give them a chance to prove themselves. Quarantine the entire Sol system. Study them to understand the threat. The speaker raised all 6 arms for silence. We will hear from all sides. Commander Zarek, present your position. Zarek stepped forward. His crystal body pulsed with dark red light. The pattern is clear. 5 times Earth has created monsters. 5 times we've had to commit genocide to save the galaxy. Each species was worse than the last. Humans show all the same signs. Holographic images appeared. Human weapons, human wars, human expansion into space. They've developed nuclear weapons, Zarek continued. They've created viruses as weapons. They dream of devices that could destroy stars. In 2 centuries, they've gone from horses to spacecraft. The acceleration matches previous patterns exactly. But we haven't attacked anyone. Amy protested from the human platform. Neither had the dinosaurs, Zarek shot back. Until they did. The crucible effect doesn't announce itself. It corrupts slowly. By the time aggression appears, it's too late. The Corvin representative raised a golden wing. But humans have shown cooperation. They've united their world. They seek peace. As did the crystal mines, Zarek replied. They were pacifists, artists, philosophers, until the effect activated, fully. Then they tried to convert all matter in the galaxy into crystal, starting with living beings. The chamber grew quiet. That particular genocide was remembered as one of the worst. What do you propose? The speaker asked. Complete sterilization, Zarek said flatly. Not just humanity, all life on Earth. Then crack the planet itself. Ensure the seed can never create another species. Gasps echoed through the chamber. Even some Zerathi flickered with disturbed colors. That's extreme, Velkin interjected. We've never destroyed a planet before. We've never faced this situation before, Zarek countered. 5 extinctions. 5 genocides. How many more before we admit the planet itself is the enemy? Jake felt sick. They weren't just talking about humanity. They wanted to destroy Earth completely. Every animal, every plant, every microbe. 4 billion years of evolution erased. Now we'll hear the other view, the speaker announced. Ambassador Velkin. Velkin moved forward. His colors were calmer than Zarek's, shifting between blue and green. Humans are different, he began. Yes, they show the same acceleration pattern. Yes, they've developed dangerous technologies, but they've also done something no previous Earth species managed. What's that? Asked the cloud alien. They've studied themselves. They understand their own nature. They see their flaws and try to correct them. When they developed nuclear weapons, they also developed treaties to limit them. When they damaged their environment, they worked to repair it. They learn from mistakes. Pretty words, Zarek scoffed. The collectors also claimed wisdom, right before they started harvesting other species for their libraries. But humans asked questions, Velkin continued. When they learned about the crucible effect, they didn't attack us. They didn't try to steal our technology. They asked why. They asked how. They sought understanding. And they proposed cooperation, Jake added, stepping forward. We want to work with you, study the effect, learn to control it. Impossible, Zarek declared. The seed cannot be controlled. The architects made sure of that. How do you know? Lisa challenged. You said yourself you don't understand the architect's purpose. Maybe control was always the goal. Maybe previous species failed because they worked alone. The council murmured. This was a new idea. The speaker gestured for silence. Explain this proposal. Jake took a deep breath. Combine your knowledge with our adaptability. Create a joint research project. Study the seed, the effect, everything. If we're going to become monsters, we'll see it happening. You can stop us then. And if we can't stop you? Zarek demanded. What if you become too powerful too quickly? Then at least you'll have learned something, Jake replied. Maybe something that helps with the next species Earth creates. There won't be a next species, Zarek growled. Are you sure? Sam stepped forward. You've tried to destroy the seed before. It defended itself. What if destroying Earth just spreads the problem? What if there are other seeds on other worlds? This caused more murmuring. The possibility hadn't been considered. A new voice spoke. The furry alien from the first session. I have a question for the humans. If we let you live, if we work with you, what will you do if the predictions come true? If you feel yourselves becoming the monsters we fear? Jake looked at his crew. They all knew the answer, but saying it out loud was hard. We'll ask you to stop us, Jake said finally. If we start to lose ourselves, if the effect corrupts us, we'll trigger the protocol ourselves. We'll die as humans rather than live as monsters. The chamber went completely silent. Even Zarek's colors flickered with surprise. You would choose extinction? Belkin asked. We would choose to protect the galaxy, Amy said, even from ourselves. Words are easy, Zarek challenged. When the time comes, would you really push the button? Test us, Jake replied. Monitor us. Put safeguards in place. Give us a way to prove we mean what we say. The council speaker lowered 4 of its arms. An interesting proposal. But how would such monitoring work? Velkin stepped forward. We could station observers on Earth, create a joint facility, human and Zarathi scientists working together. If changes begin, we'd see them immediately. And response teams in the Sol system, Zarek added reluctantly, ready to act if needed. Jake felt hope rising. Even Zarek was considering alternatives to immediate destruction. There's something else, Lisa said suddenly. She'd been working with her scanner throughout the session. I've been analyzing the data from the archive. The pattern isn't just acceleration. Each species had a unique trait. Dinosaurs had physical adaptation. Collectors had mental networking. Crystal mines had matter manipulation. Your point? The speaker prompted. Humans have something different. We adapt socially, we change our societies, our cultures, our ways of thinking. Maybe that's the key. Maybe we can adapt our way out of the cycle. Or maybe that makes you more dangerous, Zarek warned. Social adaptation could mean perfect infiltration, perfect deception, or perfect cooperation, Velkin countered. The debate continued. Species after species offered opinions. Some wanted humanity destroyed. Others supported the joint research idea. A few suggested middle grounds: isolation, limited contact, gradual integration. Finally, the speaker called for order. We will vote. The options are clear: complete extinction, joint research with safeguards, or isolation until more is known. The voting began. Each species registered their choice. Jake watched the tallies appear on the display. His heart pounded as the numbers climbed. Extinction, 37%. Joint research, 48%. Isolation, 15%. The council has decided, the speaker announced. Humanity will participate in joint research, but with conditions. Jake felt his knees go weak with relief. Around him, his crew exhaled deeply. The conditions are strict, the speaker continued. Zerathi observers on Earth, response fleets in your system, limited expansion rights, any sign of crucible corruption, and the protocol activates. Agreed? Agreed, Jake said immediately. Furthermore, Zarek added, humans must share all technological developments. No secret research, no hidden weapons, complete transparency. We accept, Jake confirmed. And if you're wrong? Zarek asked one last time. If you become the monsters we predict? Jake met the commander's gaze. Then you'll do what you must, and we'll understand why. The session ended. As the council chamber emptied, Jake found himself standing with Velkin and, surprisingly, Zarek. You've been given a chance no Earth species has had before, Velkin said. Don't waste it. We won't, Jake promised. Zarek's colors remained dark. I still think this is a mistake, but I hope you prove me wrong. As the Zerathi left, Jake looked at his crew. They had saved humanity. For now. But the real work was just beginning. Think we can do it? Sam asked. Break the pattern? Have to, Jake replied. He looked at the hologram of Earth still floating in the chamber. His home. Humanity's home. A world that created monsters or heroes. The choice was theirs.